Friend! Oh, new friend! Oh, friend! Please be my friend! Oh, friend!
Hello and welcome to Cheap Shot Entertainment. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. I am your host Luke, and we're going to take you through everything that happened in NXT UK this week. Another fantastic show for you. It is episode number 6. There's some wrestlers that I've seen at Hope Wrestling. I'll keep mentioning those because it's awesome to see them on NXT UK doing really well for themselves. And some that I've seen at 5 Star Wrestling, a little promotion that basically Jack Swagger just ate up with his wages. But yeah, there's also some ladies wrestling on this week's show. So let's go ahead and go through all the action from this week's NXT UK. Special mention to one of my best mates, little lads, for making me this. I thought I would showcase it on the YouTube channel on Cheap Shot Entertainment, and as usual we've got the Prediction League Championship in front of us as well as table decoration. So let's get on. If you want to keep it locked right here, make sure you follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe and hit that notification bell. And so, your first match of the evening is Toni Storm versus Dakota Kai, and basically this is bragging rights for possibly the first shot at the Women's UK Championship when it finally becomes introduced into NXT UK. So Dakota Kai gets the early advantage over Toni Storm. Toni Storm then comes back with a boot. Storm is then on top of Dakota Kai, not letting up on the aggression that she's showing. She really wants this. This is probably her biggest test in NXT UK so far. There's an exchange of strikes, and this leads to a clash of heads when Toni Storm goes for the headbutt, and both ladies are down. Kai hits the big kick. Storm hits the snap German and a European uppercut combo. There's then a drive-by kick by Storm, and she hits a strike on Dakota Kai, and then Kai hits the big boot of her own. There's another snap German, a Storm Zero neck breaker. They said it was a Storm Zero. It's not a Storm Zero, but it's a neck breaker, and then quite an effective one as well, because Storm picks up the win against Dakota Kai. But your next match is Amir Jordan. Very entertaining chap he is as well. Seen him in Hope Wrestling a couple of times, and he's really funny and really cool. And he's going against Liverpool's number 1 in Zach Gibson. The crowd is on Zach Gibson really early on, and it's amazing how he just shrugs it off. He just uses it to his advantage, makes him more angry. Amir Jordan's playing around, he's doing all his fancy moves and things like that, and Zach Gibson tells him to be serious and take the match seriously as he's whipping him around the ring. Take the advice, Amir, because it will work for you later. Amir Jordan, after getting beaten down for quite a while, does hit a missile drop kick, makes a mini comeback. Ultimately, there's a lariat, a really hard clothesline lariat from Zach Gibson, and this shuts the door on Jordan's momentum as he comes back. From here, Zach Gibson hits the Shankly Gate, an armbar submission move, sort of like a Boston Crab with a key lock around the back. And Amir Jordan has no option but to tap out. So your winner is the ever popular Zach Gibson, Liverpool's number 1. It's not then long before Zach Gibson asks for a microphone and starts talking, taking up a lot of TV time, and just his character really good on the mic, really good in the ring, and I'm starting to warm to him. I do tend to cheer for the heels, I'm not going to lie. but that's the fun of wrestling, isn't it? You can choose who you want to cheer for. It's not long then until he gets interrupted by one half of the mustachioed one's Mustache Mountain. He's come all the way from halfway up Mustache Mountain in the West Midlands to challenge Zach Gibson to a match which is going to happen next week on NXT UK. Zach Gibson leaves because Trent Seven wants the match. There and then, Zach Gibson slides out, does the heel thing, walks off. So we're going to get that match, I believe, next week. Zach Gibson, Trent Seven, possibly a window into who's going to be the next number one contender for the UK Championship. And so, the next match is Kenny Williams, a young man from Ireland, versus Jordan Devlin, another young man from Ireland who was trained famously by Finn Balor, and he's finally stepped out of his shadow. Jordan Devlin is back in NXT UK. An impressive first showing. Kenny Williams came up just short in his first match on NXT UK, so these two have got a lot to go for in this match. Devlin is in complete control for the whole match. I like Jordan Devlin. I think he's got a really good character. He's also the Irish champion as well, of note, defeating lots of really well-known wrestlers, including Cassius Ohno, for that title, to keep it round his waist. And Williams does get a little bit of momentum after catching Devlin's attempted kick off the apron and then swinging him down, and Devlin hitting the ring apron with his face. There's a wheelbarrow face plant after Williams goes high risk and misses. Devlin hits his fireman's buster driver thing for the win. Don't know what it's called, I'll have to find out, but your winner and his second win in NXT UK is Jordan Devlin. Your main event of the evening in Cambridge, UK for NXT, and its 6th episode of NXT UK, is the big 6-man tag between the Coffey Brothers, the Scottish Invasion, and Wolfgang versus Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, 2 Irishmen and an Englishman. Sounds like the beginning of a very funny joke to me. And Ashton Smith, another chap who's quite impressive in the NXT UK roster. The Scots use their size to their advantage, their power of manipulating the referee to gain the advantage. Andrews is planted early on with a facebuster. He manages to get Smith in, who again is the powerful one of this trio. Uses speed and size to gain the advantage over the Coffey Brothers and Wolfgang. This leads to a slight stalemate between the two sides, with all 6 men shouting at each other with the referee in the middle, like that's going to do much. But the Scots then get back on top, using the strength again. So after the Scots get back on top, Andrews then receives the beatdown. He seems to be the little bit of the whipping boy in this match, being the smallest of the 6 men. And there's a stun dog millionaire by Andrews, gives an opening to Flash Morgan Webster, who clears the ring. Smith then gets in his ripcord DDT attempt at Ash Cloud on a distraction, gets broken up. Andrews in and takes out Wolfgang after their match last week. These two guys have a lot to hate each other for. Wolfgang rolls out. Smith and Andrews take out the Coffey Brothers simultaneously, and then Webster gets taken out by Wolfgang. Webster is on top at this point, jumps off the top rope, a fabulous spot off the top rope, flip onto everybody. absolutely brilliant, and for him to do that takes a lot of guts. It takes a lot of guts to jump off the top rope into the ring, but to the outside, it's just brilliant. Wolfgang eventually does come back in, hits the spear. There's a spinning lariat by Mark Coffey, I believe it is, and then Andrews and Smith are dragged off the apron, and Wolfgang gets the pin. I think it's Wolfgang. It might have been Mark Coffey actually. They've both got long hair and beards. So yeah, the Scottish Invasion pin Flash Morgan Webster for the win on this one. The heels get the win over the faces. Probably not the last we'll have heard of all these, but what's next for the Scottish Invasion after weeks and weeks of tormenting these three guys, and of course Travis Banks, who got taken out last week on NXT UK, so he's going to come back again, and may even have an NXT UK War Games, who knows. But yeah, really good match, as the main events tend to be on NXT UK. And so that is everything that went off on this week's edition of NXT UK. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. I am your host Luke, you are the Cheap Shot Nation, and if you like the video, give us a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to know when we upload new videos, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.